Good morning, CBMS Vikings. I am so excited to be able to get this video out to you. I recorded this video like 3 or 4 times last week, trying to get it to you and could not. And that's why I emailed all of you about our CBMS Christmas challenge or our holiday challenge of sending a selfie to me holding a positive message. Get back to that in a moment. So I wanted last week to, I hope that all of you had an incredible Thanksgiving. And I hope you're going to have an equally incredible one as Christmas approaches. But you know what? I know that's not realistic. I know it's not. I know that some of us had a great one and are going to have an even better one at Christmas. And some of us are going to have really, really tough ones. And that's all okay. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to share 2 little stories about 2 holidays that were really, really, really tough for me. Even though I've been blessed with many, many, many great ones, I had some really tough ones too. And I learned from those. So my first one, because it bleeds into my second one, I was a 5th grader. My brother was in 3rd grade. It was just my mom, my brother, and I. That's all it was. Didn't have family around us, and my mom found herself a single mom for the second time. And it was just us 3, and we were approaching Thanksgiving. And my mom was gone when I woke up in the morning, and she was gone when I came home from school because she worked so hard. She was full of pride. She was one of those women that had lots and lots of pride. She was very determined. She was very, very independent. She didn't believe in asking for any help. And anyway, that Thanksgiving when my brother and we woke up, we were just really sad because we knew it wasn't going to be like the Thanksgiving that we saw on TV. You know, it wasn't going to be. But my mom, she woke up and she was super happy, and she turned up the music and she made it really loud, and she forced us to laugh and giggle and play and have fun. And she had scrounged up just enough money to get these 2 fancy loaves of bread, and we had 3 different types of jelly. And she said, we are going to have the best feast ever. It's not going to be like anyone that anyone's ever had. And we went into the kitchen and we got out the big old tub of country crock butter, and we buttered all the bread, and we put it into the oven, and we brought it out, and we cut it into different shapes. We had decorated our table. My brother and I made placemats, and we decorated the table with kind of fancy dishes that my mom had for years. And we spread it all out, and we put all of that bread, all that toast out on the table, and the 3 different types of jelly. And that's what we feasted on. We had toast. We had toast for Thanksgiving. And I remember the time I had so much fun that day with my family. We didn't even know. We didn't even, for just a little while, we didn't realize how poor we were. And we didn't realize that we didn't have all those family members, and we didn't have all that food that we would just stuff our bellies full with. But it was a different type of special. But I do remember not wanting to go back to school. I didn't want to go back to school because my 2 best friends, I knew that both of them had had the Thanksgiving that I saw on TV. And I guess at the time, I was embarrassed to tell them what my Thanksgiving was. It took several years for me to realize how special that Thanksgiving was and what its purpose was. So, fast forward several years, I have 3 kids, and I have a 4-year-old, an 8, and a 9-year-old, and I found myself unexpectedly a single mom right before Christmas. And it was super tough time. It seemed like overnight their dad was gone, and I just didn't know what to do. I just wanted to crawl under the covers and not come out until it was all better. But that wasn't my reality. And thank gosh, my mom had instilled in me how to be strong and how to be independent and how to be stubborn, super stubborn, and be determined to figure out a solution to my problem and to make I couldn't make my kids' lives better that holiday season, but I was determined to make my kids' lives better over time. And so I remember as Christmas approached, I would cry myself to sleep after they were asleep because I knew I wasn't going to give them the Christmas that they were used to when their dad and I were together. And I didn't have the money. I was teaching during the day because this district was so kind and they hired me without my degree. I was finishing my degree, my senior year of college, teaching during the day, and I was a cocktail waitress at night because I could get really big tips. But even with all of that combined, I still couldn't afford to get presents for my kids, but I could afford to get a little bit of extra food. So I remember I had scrounged enough money to get us in a place of our own, and we were out in the middle of the boonies in Texas, so to speak. That means like you're surrounded by nothing. To me, it was paradise, but we were surrounded by nothing. And I was only there for that year to get to be close enough to my mom so I could get through my senior year and be able to save enough money to get the kids and I back to Oregon where our heart and souls were. And so anyway, we went out and we didn't have Christmas trees around us, and I sure couldn't afford a Christmas tree. So we went out and we cut down what they call a Charlie Brown tree. And it was like 2 feet high. So, just like 2 feet high. And it had, I don't know, 4 or 5 little branches on it. And it was so little and so sad looking that it could only hold a couple of ornaments without it completely just kind of falling. And I stuck it into a pot of dirt because I couldn't afford a tree stand. And oh my gosh, it was just the toughest Christmas ever because I never wanted my kids to have a tough holiday. And here they were having the toughest one of their whole life. And I couldn't get any presents. And I was very prideful. Very prideful. So I told my mom, no, I don't want your help. No, I don't want this. No, I don't want that. And so my mom had nominated my 3 kids for this. It was kind of like a Christmas gathering that you had with the Chamber of Commerce, the Lions Club. It's kind of a club where they have it's just this night where each child receives one gift and a stocking. I told my mom, absolutely not. That was not going to happen. Well, she did it anyway. And she kind of tricked me and said, we're just going to help. And so I told my kids, I said, guys, you're not going to get anything. I said, but I want us to go and I want us to help other kids that have so much less than us to have a nice Christmas. And you're going to help because my mom and her husband was part of the Lions Club. So we went. And it was an awesome night, but it was bittersweet because I kept thinking, wow, my kids are some of those kids. They're not going to have a Christmas that they were used to. So anyway, my kids, they called out their names. And I was so mad at my mom. But I was also happy that she ignored what I said. And she did it anyway. So anyway, each of my kids were called and they received a stocking. Well, my oldest son, Cole, who was 9 at the time, they got to the end and they were out of stockings. And my son, being the great kid that he is, said, it's okay. It's okay. I want that other kid to have that stocking. And so they gave him that stocking along with that gift. And so 2 of my 3 kids had received something that night. And my oldest, who was only 9, did not. But I could see the disappointment, but he hid it because he knew we had great Christmases and he knew we'd have great Christmases again. And so he donated his present so the other little boy could have it. And it melted my heart. It was one of those really bittersweet Christmases. Anyway, that holiday was definitely the toughest holiday for a mom ever, ever, ever. But after Christmas, this one lady that was at the Lions Club was so impressed with my son and how caring and loving he was when he wasn't going to get anything for Christmas. And she knew that he loved basketball. And so she showed up at my doorstep. And she had bought this coin. My son still has it to this day, even though it's worth quite a bit of money, had this coin. It was a Michael Jordan coin, and she gave it to him, and she gave him this huge, huge stocking full of stuff after Christmas, and said, I was so impressed with you to be such a young boy and to be able to show so much love and so much compassion to give away the only thing that you were going to get for Christmas away to someone else. So, moral of this story is, moral of both stories, that Christmas with my mom so many years ago when I was a 5th grader, I thought was one of the toughest Christmases ever. But it did 2 things for me. It gave me the strength for later, a Christmas I didn't know was coming when I was going to be a single mom. And it gave me the strength to be able to handle that Christmas with my kids to make it special. 2, it also showed me, it made me so grateful for all the Christmases and holidays that I've had in between and since that are filled, that look like that TV commercial, that have all that food and surrounded by my kids and my grandkids and friends. And it made me appreciate the others. Okay. And then with my story with my own kids, you want to know the strangest thing? When my kids look back on all the Christmases where I overdid it, bought them way too many gifts, wanted it perfect because I never wanted them to have a Christmas like that again. Guess which Christmas they always bring up, they always remember, they always share and talk about? It was our Charlie Brown Christmas. It was the Christmas that I thought they had nothing. But it's the Christmas that all 3 of my kids to this day still talk about and is their favorite Christmas because they had all this love. They had more love. They had all of this warmth, the caring of that stranger that saw that my son didn't get anything, all of it. So those of you that are going to have the really, really tough Christmas or had a really, really tough Thanksgiving, I promise you they won't all be that way, but use it to be grateful, to be thankful for the ones that are a little better. And those of you that had an outstanding Thanksgiving and are going to have a great Christmas, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to throw out a wish out into the air, out into the universe, hoping that everybody that's going to have a tough one will have something that day that makes them really smile and makes their day a little bit more bearable, and hope that they have much better Christmases and holidays to come. Okay? Okay, so back to our challenge, the one I emailed you for. What I am challenging you to do is, I want you to send a selfie to my email. Send a selfie where you hold a positive message up to share with your friends, your family, the community, anything that's going to make someone smile, even if it's just for a moment. Okay? So kind of like this. Here's my message. If you want to be happier, make someone else's day happy. When we make someone else's day happy, it will always, I promise you, always make yourself, it will make you feel happier. Okay? So I would take a picture like this that shows my face, shows my message, and as you notice, it has punctuation, it has capitalization, the words are spelled correctly, okay? But if it's not the first time, I will help you. I will help you on the email to get it right, okay? But I want you to send me a picture, and then I'm going to post it on the district Facebook page. And what I'm hoping to do is get so many that every time somebody looks at our page, they're going to see a hopeful message from a middle school student, okay? Because all of you are so incredibly wonderful. And I want to bring some smiles and some joy to anyone that sees it, because this season is going to be tough for a lot of people, okay? Okay, I wish I could see all your faces in the building, but I have a feeling that it's coming soon, okay? Okay, have a wonderful day and send me those selfies holding up a message, okay?